Hello, all of you. Welcome to the presentation of Global Data on Sustainable Energies. This report has been built using the Power BI desktop. So first, let me introduce you to my dataset. This dataset has been downloaded from Kaggle.com. So let me take you to the sheet where I can introduce to all the fields of my dataset. So you can see here my data set actually it contained only the country column, and the name of that country column was entity, but I have changed it, the entity column into the world data, the value, and then I've introduced your continent also. And then I have taken this particular column, which was in earlier as a country. Okay, and then remaining fields. So this data contains the data from 2000 to 2020. That is 20 years data it contains. And then access to electricity, the percentage of what percentage of population is having access to electricity or for the clean fuels. And then renewable electricity generating capacity per capita, financial flows to developing countries from developed countries, renewable energy sharing total final energy consumption. So later on, we are going to study about all these things. What do you mean by this energy consumption? What do you mean by renewable energy? What is the financial flows? All these things. And then electricity from fossil fuels, nuclear, renewable, and low carbon electricity percentage. And then primary energy consumption per capita, and then energy intensity level of primary energy. That is nothing but energy use per unit of GDP at purchasing power parity. Then value CO2 emissions, metric tons per capita, renewables, that is equivalent primary energy that is derived from renewable sources. This particular column or attribute I have removed since there was no proper data. 90% of the data was null. So I thought of removing this particular column. And then GDP growth, GDP per capita, density, that is population density in persons per square kilometer, land area, latitude, longitude. So all these different fields I was having in my data set. Along with the original data set, I thought of introducing this entity and continent column into my data set. Apart from that one, I have included the GDP values also in this particular table by searching the values of GDP. I did not get the Excel sheet, but I took a Wikipedia page and then I have taken screenshot and I've introduced for all the 176 countries and for all the 20 years I've entered the data over here. Apart from that one, I have taken I have segregated this country, all those countries into their continents. I have categorized these countries according to the continents. All these things I have done. And apart from that one, you can see that I have taken this primary energy consumption data separately. I have downloaded this particular table. I have after that taking this table, I have modified this table so that I can relate this table with my energy data table. And to relate these two tables, I have created this country table also along with the country code. This particular table will act as a factless fact table, which will be acting as a bridge between my energy data and my this primary consumption data. Okay, after cleaning all these things and removing all the null data and including all the other data, whatever is required for me, I have I have imported the data set into my Power BI desktop. You can see here I'm having my energy data table here, energy data table, and my primary consumption data table here, and a country table here, which is a factless fact table. And if we go for the model of those tables, you can see I have used this country table as a bridge between these two tables, and I have connected them using the using both the directions. So the data can flow from this table to this table and this table to this table. Okay, so let us get back to our report. In this report, I have tried to analyze all the data whichever is there in the data set according to my knowledge, and what need to be accessed, what I need to show, all those things I have tried to analyze in this particular report. Whether it is sources of electricity or primary energy consumption, or the population density, or about the renewable electricity, or a GDP values and the growth statistics. Okay, and report on CO2 emission, and even on the developing countries with the financial flows and GDP. So like this, multiple pages I have created according to the analysis of the data, different values, entities of the data, and even have created the insights, what all we can understand, why, what is the requirement of this report. About all those things I have created one insight page over here, and then even I have given this information regarding my data set. Okay, and even in the insights page I have given the buttons, info buttons, where you can go. I have given a link to the websites where you can do the further studies. Okay, so this was a brief introduction about my data set. So now let's move on to the detailed detailing into the report of the report. So this is the home page of the Power BI report which I have created. So it is about the global data on sustainable energies, and the data contains it contains the 20 years data, that is from 2000 to 2020. So before moving on, first we need to also know about what actually this sustainable energy means. Okay, so the for that I have given a small text box here where I have given the definition of this sustainable energy. So sustainable energy includes any energy source that cannot be depleted and can remain viable forever. It does not need to be renewed or replenished. Sustainable energy meets our demand for energy without any risk for going bad or running out. Examples of sustainable energy sources include wind, solar, water, hydropower, all of which can be considered inexhaustible and widely available to almost everyone. Geothermal energy can also be included as a sustainable alternative energy source. Geothermal energy creates usable energy from the planet's internal energy sources such as geysers. Okay, so this was a small definition about the sustainable energy. Now, I have given certain links to navigate throughout my report. And I tried to download the related icons here, and I have linked a particular page according to that particular related icon. Okay, so first let us go on to this overview page. Okay, so in this overview page I have tried to keep our overview values. I have tried to present the overview values. Okay, just like how many number of continents are there, how many number of countries data is there in this particular data set, and then what is the total land area, and the total density, and then total primary energy consumption, and carbon dioxide emission. For all these things, I have created to find out all these values. I even created some measures over here. And then apart from that one, I have given this filter over here, slicer over here, in which I have used the country entity. And then here, this is a tornado chart. It is a custom chart which I've used to represent or present the access to clean fuels for cooking and access to electricity, percent of population. So what percent of population is having access to the electricity or for the clean fuels for cooking? So if you can take Afghanistan, even in 2020 also only 33% of population was having access to clean fuels for cooking, whereas 98% of population was having access to electricity. Okay, but when it comes to Australia, some developed countries, then you can see that they are having almost, they have reached the target. Okay, they have reached their percentage of the population percentage which is having access to clean fuels for cooking or the electricity. They have reached the target. 100% population is having clean fuels for cooking or electricity. Okay, similarly, if you take any other countries, you can check out their, according to their what percentage of population is having access to electricity or for the clean cooking oils. Maybe for Bulgaria, we don't have the values for the clean fuels, so it is showing 0 here. Let me take Cambodia. Okay, since it is a world data, some of the data were not available. Whichever I have tried and searched and I have entered almost whatever is possible, I have tried to enter. So when it comes to Cambodia, we can see that in 2020, 86% population is having electricity, whereas only 37% of population is having access to clean fuels for cooking. Okay, so when it comes to Canada, we can see that 100% population is having access for both clean fuels and for electricity. And this particular radar chart is showing the presentation of the GDP, how the GDP is growing from 2000 to 2020. Okay, so any particular country, if you select according to that one, I have related these two visuals only for the filter. So according to this one, it is showing whichever country I'm selecting, according to that country, the GDP growth also is showing, and this access to clean fuels for cooking or this it is or electricity is shown here. Okay, so this was about my overview page. So let me move on to the next page over here, where I'll be showing you about the insights of electricity and sources of electricity or energy consumption or primary energy consumption per capita. Sorry. Okay. So in this page, I have taken a hierarchy. I have created this hierarchy of world, continent, and the countries. So if you click on this one, you can see that what all countries come under Africa. All of them will be under Africa. So we have taken this regional filter here, regional, and then I have presented the donut chart to show the comparison between the sources of electricity. So if we take up now, the entire world is taken. In this entire, when we take up entire world, we can see that which is the main source of electricity. So this maximum percentage, that is 48% population is having the electricity or the electricity is generated using fossil fuels. And what's the percentage of generation of electricity using fossil fuels is 48.87%. Okay, so comparing to this nuclear energy is only 9.07%, whereas electricity from renewables is 16.65%, and electricity from low carbon is 25.41%. Okay, so this is the worldwide data, and here this is the primary energy consumption, and the share of renewable energy in this primary energy consumption is only um, it is 4.33%. Okay, I will tell you about these things. First, let me tell about all the visuals in this particular page. So this graph, or sorry, this map visual, it is showing the population density of the world. Okay, now see, when it comes to sources of electricity, I have given a small info button here. So first, let us see the info button here. And then let us come back to this particular page so that I can explain you. Okay, so what do you mean by this low carbon energy? What is renewable energy? What do you mean by nuclear energy? And what is energy from fossil fuels? I have given a small information. See, when it comes to low carbon energy, in this, when we generate electricity using low carbon, less emission of carbon dioxide will be there. Okay. And then the four main types of low carbon energies: wind, solar, hydro, and nuclear power. Whereas renewable energy sources are good for the environment, as we will be using the natural resources to generate the electricity, and which are never going to extinct. Okay, there is an infinite resource of these things, and that's why we should make sure that most of our electricity is generated using the renewable energy. We should move towards or strive towards generation of electricity using the renewable energy. What is this nuclear energy? Nuclear energy is usually considered another non-renewable energy source. Although nuclear energy itself is a renewable energy, the material used in nuclear power plants is not. Why? Because the uranium U-235 is used, which is a non-renewable resource. Okay, and then when it comes to fossil fuels are burned to produce energy. Okay, and that is in the presence of oxygen. The problem with burning fossil fuels is their effect on the environment. As mentioned, fossil fuels are hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are burned in the presence of oxygen, then release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, which is dangerous, as carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas and is leading cause for global warming. That's why we should make sure that or strive towards generating electricity using low carbon and renewable energy. Okay, so low carbon is also using this wind, solar, hydropower, and nuclear power. The difference between this renewable energy or the low carbon energies, see, for this nuclear power, we need to establish a plants and all, which is again use of energy to construct a plants or whatever it is. Compared to low carbon energy, we can concentrate more on renewable energy, but low carbon energy is also a good thing to generate electricity comparing to fossil fuels. Okay, so let me get back to the page. But what we are seeing the electricity from fossil fuels percentage is more compared to the other resources. Okay, so this we have to reverse this one. We have to increase the percentage of renewables as well as low carbon percentage comparing to this fossil fuels. Okay, now if we want to go according to the continents, that what percentage is used, what percentage of different sources of electricity is in Africa, if we take up only Africa. So you can see here, low carbon, sum of low carbon electricity is 75%. That's quite good. Okay, and this is fossil fuels. When it comes to this is renewables. This also we need to increase. Okay, and this is about Asia. Okay, Europe, North America, Oceania, South America. Okay, and here also you can see, according to this selection, the primary energy consumption and share of renewable energy consumption also is getting changed. So this blue color is representing the total primary energy in terawatts, which we are using to produce the output. And that which can contain all this, whether it is from fossil fuels or nuclear or whatever it is, but the renewable energy consumption share is so very less when comparing to the total primary energy, which we need to increase the share. We have to increase in the primary energy consumption. Okay, and here this particular chart or map visual is showing the population density. Earlier, what was happening? The population was less, and the resources were more and we were able to meet the requirements. But as the time is passing, the population is growing and we are not able to meet the demands. Okay, so we need to control the population also. Okay, now let's move on to the next page. Okay. So here I've tried to represent year-wise analysis of renewable electricity and primary energy. So in this particular visual, I've used a clustered column chart where I'm presenting sum of renewable electricity generating capacity per capita in kilowatts and sum of electricity from renewables in terawatts. Okay, so this purple color columns are showing the electricity from renewables, which is in terawatts, whereas this blue color columns are showing the sum of renewable electricity generating capacity per capita in kilowatts. Okay, so this is in kilowatts and this is in terawatts. Please don't get confused. And I have presented these values in logarithmic scale. Okay, and here I have tried to use an area chart where it is showing the sum of energy intensity level of primary energy. So I want to explain this one, this particular, what do you mean by this PPP, or what do you mean by this energy intensity? So let me take you to this info button. Okay, so this energy intensity level of primary energy. Earlier, I was also not knowing what actually this domain only was very new to me. I have studied each and every field, what actually they mean and what I mean by this sustainable energy. Everything I have done a research to understand the data set so that I can present them in a right way. Okay, so your energy use per unit of GDP at purchasing power parity. Then what this PPP means, purchasing power parity. So what do you mean by this purchasing power parity? What do you mean by this energy intensity? See, energy intensity is an indication of how much energy is used to produce one unit of economic output. So it should be the ratio in this way. The ratio should be less. That means we need to use less energy and produce more output. Okay. So the ratio should be always less. And what do you mean by this PPP means? A PPP are the rates of currency conversion that equalize the purchasing power of different currencies by eliminating the differences in price levels between countries. So for an example, to understand this one, here we can learn this one better. See, um, have you, how see the suppose it costs $10 to buy a shirt in US and it costs €8 to buy an identical shirt in Germany. To make an apples to apples comparison, the same products comparison, we must first convert €8 into US dollars. If the exchange rate was such that the German a shirt in Germany cost $15, the PPP would therefore be 15 by 10 or 1.5. In other words, for every $1 spent on the shirt in US, it takes 1.50 to obtain the same shirt in Germany when buying it with a euro. Okay, so this is how the PPP is calculated. Hope you have understood that what do you mean by energy intensity and what is purchasing power parity. So let me take you back to the page. Okay. So here you can see that energy, obviously it is coming down, but this was the COVID pandemic time. So obviously the energy intensity is completely down, but we can ignore this one. But still, there is a slight decrease in the ratio, but we need to bring this ratio still down so that we are able to produce more output using a less energy. Okay. And then when it comes to this one, sum of primary energy consumption per capita kilowatt by person by year. Okay, so this also has reduced in 2020. We need to increase sum of primary energy consumption. So how much energy is consumed per person? Okay, that it is showing here. Okay. according to the year. In kilowatts it is showing here. And then this also here also I've given a regional filter, and using this one we can check out according to the countries, according to the continents and according to the countries. So if I take up Africa, in Africa, any country if you want to check out, you can check out that particular country. Okay, so this is it is Algeria. It is about Algeria. Okay, this is about Botswana. Okay, like this. If you don't want this one, you can go up. You can select Asia, and this one, if you want, you can take up any country in Asia. This is Bahrain. So according to the country selection, it is showing the data. Okay. Now we have moved on to GDP values and growth statistics. So earlier in my data set, I was having only the growth values, not the GDP values. But when I try to show it on the chart, or when I try to rank the countries according to the growth, what happened? The growth rate depends upon the size of the country. So when the smaller countries were having the higher growth rate comparing to the bigger countries and the more developed countries, so which did not validate or accurately show, it was not showing the ranks. So I thought of including the GDP values where I'll be getting the actual values, where I can measure the countries and their GDPs. So I have taken this GDP values, searched the GDP values for all the 176 countries, and I've entered it for all the 20 years here. So if I want to check out, now it is showing the top and bottom 10 countries on GDP values. So these are the top countries which are having a good GDP values, high GDP values. Okay, and then and the bottom countries are shown here. Okay, bottom 10 countries and top 10 countries it is showing here. So if I want to find out the overall this one, I can go and click on this button. Okay, and this is a here I've used a ranking measure to rank the countries here. And then this particular chart it is showing the stack chart. It is showing the sum of GDP values in millions and sum of GDP per capita by year. Okay, so that I've tried to present it in a stack chart. Now let us click on this particular button. So now it is showing all the 176 countries according to the rank wise. Okay. And then this particular button will take you to the financial flows and to countries and their GDP growth. Here, one thing I want to tell you, what is this financial flows? Financial flows is given to the developing countries from the developed countries so that they can invest this money in some clean energy projects. Okay, so not all the countries are having this financial values. Only the countries which are developing countries are only having this financial flow values. Okay, so let me show you that one. So you can see this particular sum of GDP growth is shown using this line, whereas sum of financial flows is showing use the column chart. Okay, and here it is this particular visual I've kept it as it is. Only this particular visual I've changed for this button. Okay, I've made use of bookmarks over here and I've connected to the buttons here. Okay, next page. In this particular page, I have tried to concentrate on the report on CO2 emission, that is carbon dioxide emission. Here also I have created two buttons, and according to that buttons, I have created a bookmark so that I can show you top 10 and bottom 10 countries according to the CO2 emission and according to the normal ranking. Now you're seeing according to the normal ranking that China, United States, India, all of them are on top where we are emitting the carbon dioxide. Okay, and here I've tried to show the forecasting of, in this way, if you go on emitting the CO2, where we will be into by 2030. Okay, so what will be the values of that CO2 emission, how much CO2 we are going to release to the environment, that I've tried to depict it over here. So let me click on this one. Okay, so here I've tried to show you these things according to the top 10 countries and the bottom 10 countries which are releasing the CO2 emission. And for that also I have even kept the slicer here so that you can get check out according to the continents or according to the countries. Okay, so let me move on to the next page. So here, analysis of financial flows and their GDP values. Um, uh, when we come to this particular page, the growth, GDP values and growth statistics, where I had shown you this financial flows and their GDP growth. Here, we are not able to, we don't know the land area, and we are not able to recognize their, sorry, yeah, we are not able to recognize how much finance they require and what is the how big the country is and what is their GDP growth. All those things we cannot analyze. So here I have tried to give this metrics. I've used a metrics chart over here where even I have taken the sum of land area and some of financial flows to the developing countries and some of the GDP values in millions, so that we can have a look at it. We can check out that how much they are having. Whichever country you want to expand, you can expand and you can check out the values of their land area, their financial flows, and their GDP. Okay, and number of countries among 176 countries, 119 countries are receiving the financial flow, and the total amount of financial flows to developing countries. So this also can be played according to, I have given the play access over here, where the values will be shown according to the years from 2000 to 2020. Okay, so you can see according to this one, the values of any country will be changing. Running just a minute. So let me take you to the inside page. Okay. So here I have tried to bring some insights according to the report. First, also have already told you about sustainable energy. Here we are having that sustainable development goals. Okay, that is seven targets we are having. All the seven targets I have tried to present it over here, that by 2030 what all we need to what all targets we need to reach. Okay, so just like access to affordable, reliable, and modern energy services, or increasing the share of renewable energy, or double the global rate of improvement in energy efficiency, enhance international cooperation to facilitate access to clean energy research and technology, and then expand infrastructure and upgrade technology for supplying modern and sustainable energy services. So all these sustainable goals, 7 goals I have presented here, and I have given the overview of all the pages, whatever I have used it in my report, or I have whatever analysis I have tried to do. Apart from that one, here I have given the links of this a certain website so that you can further study about the sustainable energy or the renewable energy or the world data, all those things. And then I have finally at the last page, I have given the key features about my data set. Okay, all the I have tried to explain all the columns which I have used in my report. So this was my presentation on global data on sustainable energy. Hope you have enjoyed listening to this presentation. Thank you very much.